All right, let's review a call. So whether you go to the recordings page or you see it at the bottom where you see recent recordings on the home page, you can go to the recordings through whichever means you want, and then you can always filter through them. You have a few tabs at the top: all recordings, my recordings, and shared with me. Now, the difference between these are all recordings are all the recordings in your workspace, regardless of who recorded them, that have made them public. My recordings are just your recordings, the recordings that you've been on, the recordings that you've had. And shared with me are recordings that are private, but have been shared directly with you. So let's hop into a call itself. This is our one-on-one that we had, looks like yesterday. And you can see here that we have a title that you can edit, a description of that call, and tags below. Now, tags are both automatically added as well as you can add your own tag. So if we talked something like we talked about lang flow here, I can add my own tag here, and I can search for calls by those tags in the future, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Under here, you'll see summaries and notes. Summaries are just that. They're summaries of the calls. What's different about BuildBetter summaries is that we do different types of call summaries depending on the different type of call. So we identified that this was a one-on-one call, and we took a different type of call summary for this call. And that means that we have topics discussed, feedback provided, challenges, concerns, goals, and of course, action items, which are on all of our call summaries. But if I don't like this, I can always regenerate it and say, hey, this wasn't a one-on-one. This was more of a check-in or an engineering stand-up or whatever it might have been. If maybe we got that wrong, or you just wanted something else from the summary, you can give it a different description or change the language or whatever it might be. And of course, generate a new summary. You can also copy this summary or link straight to it. And you can even generate a document straight from this page, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, there's a few other settings here. You'll see that there's a calendar invite that was tied to this call. We have participants, and I can always add a participant here if I wanted to add someone else to this call who maybe was on it but never spoke, so we didn't automatically label them. Or maybe there was a company that we referenced on this call that we wanted to make sure this call was associated to, and we can always, type in that company's name and add that company to this call. We also have dates where we automatically get the call date, but sometimes you might have uploaded this call and you want to change the date or change the time. You can always do that. You also have the time of the call, how long the call ran for. And then you have these two options here, participants and internal call. Now, participants are basically our permissioning system. We have two main types, which are workspace and participants. Participants is effectively private. It is only accessible to those who are on the call itself. Now, workspace is public. It means anyone inside of this workspace has access to it. It is not worldwide public. It's not public to the internet. No one can find it on the web, but it just means anyone in this workspace can get access to it. We also have additional share settings. So this call is private, which means I could just add another team member to this call and they would have access to it, and then they would see it in the shared with me. We also have private links where you can copy this link and share it with someone, but be warned that if they don't have access to this call, the link will not work, which is a good thing if you're trying to keep this call private. We do offer a public link. Now, this is a true public link. Anyone with this link, which is generated on the fly, will get access to this call video and summary. That's it. They don't get access to your workspace. They don't get access to the transcript. They only get access to the call video and the summary provided. So you can copy this link and share it with them. You can also have, you'll see a few things up here. You have chat, transcripts, and signals. Now, chat allows you to ask any question to the call, and it pulls from the entire transcript to answer those questions. Now, these chats are private, you'll see here, private and secure, so no one else has access in the workspace to these chats with the call. And it pulls from the entire transcript to answer them. Now, I asked a question here about our strategy around our iOS app, and you'll see that it also provides linking to those specific moments that we discussed it on the call. Full citations every single step of the way. Now, I can click on it and be brought straight to that segment on the transcript and on the call. I can read through it. I could create a new signal, which we'll talk a little bit in another video. I could reassign the participants, link straight to this segment on the call, or copy the part of the transcript and be able to send it to someone else. I can also copy the entire transcript. I can search the transcript for something like iOS or something like that. And of course, I can link to any part of these transcripts. You'll see on the transcripts themselves, you'll see these little insights. Now, these are signals that are being created from the transcript. Now, signals are just that. They're things on the call that we thought was particularly important. We do these extractions automatically on internal and external calls for you automatically. And we'll talk a little bit more about signals a little bit later. But what you need to know about them is that this is that icon, and you can click on it and you can see the signal that was extracted from this segment. I can also click on that segment and be brought straight to that segment on the transcript. And of course, I can see all the signals here. Now, we're not going to do a deep dive on signals right now, but of course, you can link to these signals or add these to a folder straight from the call page. Last little tidbits is you can add these calls straight to a folder on this little 3-dot menu bar. You can download your recordings, copy transcripts, delete them, and of course, duplicate them to a separate workspace. That's it for the call information, what you need to know about the call page, and how to get the most value out of the call page itself.